Hey Mark, I wanted to take a couple minutes and show you my bikes. So I've got two motorcycles. Both of them basically serve the same purpose. The one on the left is a 2022 Kawasaki KLR650, and the one on the right is a 1997 Suzuki DR350 SE model. Now the one on the left I bought in 2021 while we were living down in Florida, because that's the only thing I could ride down there. I had to get rid of four-wheelers, side-by-sides, all that stuff. And you know, I had a dirt bike too, but transporting it to a trail system was not real practical down there, and I just didn't want to deal with that. So anyway, I'll show you both of them up close. Alright, so the KLR here is basically like brand new. It's got about 2,000 miles on it. I really haven't had time to ride it a whole lot, but I will say it's a nice bike. It's probably 80% road, 20% trail, maybe 70-30. It's, you know, it's more street oriented. I say that because of the weight mainly. This machine weighs about 460 pounds with no gas, no gear, no rider. So it's pretty heavy, and if you get it off-road into slippery terrain or, you know, difficult terrain, uneven terrain, steep hills, it becomes a handful really fast. Also, the weight causes the suspension to bottom out pretty easily, so if you're going fast and you hit a deep bump or something, you know, you might smash down and hit a rock or whatever. It's just it's kind of a handful. It's a pretty nice bike, but it's kind of a turd. It does not have a lot of power. I think it has about 40 horsepower. So the power to weight ratio is not great on this one. It doesn't feel very fast. It has lots of torque. It's very torquey. You can short shift it, you can lug it. I do like that about it. You just don't have to rev it very hard to get it to move. I've done a few mods to it. Really, actually, I wouldn't even call them mods, just some accessories I've put on it. So in the back, you'll see a luggage rack. This is basically a rear duffel bag from Tusk. I got this at Rocky Mountain ATV online. Super nice bag. It's waterproof. And then in the front, I've got a Tusk tank bag, which is also very nice. I got a little bit of storage in there. It's a place where I can, you know, put my wallet, my keys, sunglasses, whatever, stuff like that. I also got a cell phone holder, which is nice. It twists around so you can move it however you like. You put the phone in and it snaps down and locks on, and then it just clamps on from the back with a little thumb screw. Super easy to do, so it's pretty flexible. You can put it anywhere you want. This one has fuel injection, so there's no choke. You just turn the key and start it. It runs really smooth. You don't have to let it really warm up too much. You don't have to worry about any of that kind of stuff, jetting adjustments, etc. I'm about due for some tires on it. They're worn down pretty good on this one. Definitely due for tires in the back. Doing both at the same time, most likely. Overall, it's a nice bike. It just, I would say this is not a very good adventure bike, because you know, you're going to be pretty severely limited in terms of what you can do off-road. What kind of, you know, how off-road can you get, right? Like, you're not going to be hitting the trails with this thing very far. If it's a dirt road, a fire road, a forest access road, a groomed trail, anything like that, it'll be fine. But anything worse than that, you're gonna hate it. So anyway, that's that bike. The other one is the Suzuki. Now, I just got this one a few months back, maybe a month and a half ago. I found it on Marketplace in Ligonier, PA. Paid 2,600 bucks for it. I bought it off of a lady. It's a 1997 model. It had 4,400 miles on it when I got it. It's in excellent condition. mostly all original. I've added a bunch of stuff here, but when I got it, it was pretty much original. So we'll talk about this a little bit. This bike is my favorite, and I'll tell you right off the bat why. It's my favorite because it's lightweight and very nimble. It still has electric start. It's quiet. It's extremely reliable. It gets 50 couple miles per gallon, and it's just fun to ride. And the engine is not real big. It's a 350cc 4-stroke. It's air cooled, so you can see the fins on the engine. That's how the heat radiates away. It just, you know, less moving parts, less maintenance, simpler design. The KLR is liquid cooled, so it's got a radiator and a fan and all that jazz. When it gets hot, the fan comes on, uses up battery power, so on and so forth, right? So anyway, when I bought it, it did have this oversized fuel tank on it. This is actually not the original fuel tank. This holds 4.25 gallons. The original one is closer to 2 gallons. So it gives me double the range of the stock fuel tank, which is nice. So like I said, that came with the bike. I did not add it. The tires that are on it are dual sport tires technically, but you know, even in the dual sport tire range, there's a spectrum, right? You've got, you know, 70-30, 50-50, 60-40, you know, dirt and street mix. I would say these ones are definitely more street oriented. I don't like them very much. They're not great off-road. They're good enough, and I'm gonna get my money's worth out of them, but I am anxious to put some new tires on, probably over the winter. All right, so let's talk about some of the goodies that I've added to this bike. So I put a Tusk tank bag on, just like the on the KLR, same thing basically. Really cool addition. You know, it just kind of straps onto the frame on both sides here, and then it has another strap on the front that just wraps around the front triple tree here, and then it just has adjustable straps and clips, so you can take it off in about 2 seconds and adjust it really quickly. It does take up a wee little bit of seat room, but it does not get in my way. I don't have any problem with it, so that's definitely been a good addition. What else did I do? Let's take a look. So up in the handlebar area, all of this is upgraded. So the bars themselves were replaced. The original bars were they were fine, but the paint was faded. They didn't look that great. And I happen to have these laying around anyway, so I put the nicer bars on, and I also added these mirrors. I upgraded to nicer mirrors. These are called oh, what are they called? Breakaway mirrors, I think, something like that. But you just loosen this screw, and you know, it moves in every direction on this pivot point as well as down here, so it's pretty much infinitely adjustable. And the nice thing is, if you get into some really rough terrain, you can loosen them up and just fold them down into the middle so they're out of the way and they don't catch on anything. Okay, the big dashboard here. This guy is a super cool addition. That was an add-on. It just has these two main posts on each side, and it clamps onto the handlebars down here. It's kind of hard to see, but it does clamp onto the bar, so it's quick to take off and put it back on. It just gives you a place to mount things like a GPS, or in my case right now I have another phone holder here, which is just, you know, it's the same as the other one I showed you. It just clamps on with this thumb screw here. It's not actually permanently mounted, but I'm going to eventually get that stuff on there. So I plan to do a nice GPS setup, so I have a dedicated GPS there. And then of course, when you're running your phone and GPS, you quickly need power. So I did do some upgrades to the electrical system. I put in a Tusk 3-way relay, and it gives me 3 extra you know, key on, key off power sources. So I wired in this USB power adapter from one of those 3 circuits. So you can see it's got a little off and on rocker switch and 2 USB ports. So when I'm riding, I just turn that on and I plug in a short cable to my phone here, and it keeps my phone charged at 100%. And it's wired up in such a way that when I turn the key off, which is right here behind my bar pad, it turns off this accessory, so there's no chance I'm gonna kill my battery. This dashboard came with a windscreen as well, like a fairing here. This thing's really nice. It keeps some of the wind off of your chest, and you know, a little bit of the bugs out of your face and all that kind of stuff. And I think it kind of looks cool. It gives it kind of a rally bike look. Okay, so I had to put a tail light illuminator, a tag illuminator on here. So I found these two screws that have LED bulbs integrated, so when you turn the key on, it shines a light down here onto the tag. I wired that in. I had to do that for the Maryland inspection. And one last thing is, well, two more things. So coming back to the bars, these guys right here they're called Barkbusters generically. Barkbusters is a brand name. They are the ones that kind of, you know, invented this thing. But now tons of people make them. These are made by Tusk, which is the house brand for Rocky Mountain ATV. They're cheap and they're nice. So it comes with this aluminum wraparound bar and these plastic shields. So basically it keeps the wind off of your hands, the brush, you know, thorns and sticker bushes. And if you crash, it protects your hands. If you lay the bike over, it protects your levers and your grips and your handlebars. So they're pretty much a must-have in my opinion. All right, and the last upgrade I made was just adding this front fender bag. This is basically a tool bag. What I keep in here is a spare inner tube for the tire. And actually the front tire and the back tire are different sizes, so the tube that's in that bag is for the front tire. And the reason for that is because you can actually use a front tire in the front and the back. In a pinch you could use the front and the back, but you couldn't do it the other way around. So the tubes are kind of big. I don't want to carry both, so I got one. There's also some tire irons in here, some of the tools to change the tire. And I also, I'm not going to show it here on the film, but I got a vest that has a whole bunch of pockets in it and a hydration bladder on the back to take with me. Pretty much going into the back country, so I want to be prepared in case, you know, something unexpected happens. Get caught out after dark, or a breakdown way out where there's no cell phone reception, have to hike or spend the night. I just want to be prepared. You know, things like a lighter, a water filter, some tools, you know, zip ties, duct tape, that kind of stuff, flashlight. So I'm kind of working on putting that kit together now. So as far as both of these bikes go, they're both really nice bikes. I like them both. But honestly, I'm liking the DR better as far as the type of riding I do so far. Like I said, it's just a little more nimble and light, easy to handle. So I'll go ahead and start it up so you can hear what they sound like. Probably gonna need two hands for this. Okay. So she's not very loud. She starts easy. All right, I think that wraps up this video. Thanks for watching.